All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Gavin, and today, another special episode for you guys. We had done a review on the Arc TIG welder. If you haven't seen that, check that video out now. And because of that, we got reached out to, and we got a plasma cutter to review today. So this is awesome because this is like the one tool the shop's been lacking, and we now have one. So this machine is called Bestarc. It's a Bestarc plasma cutter. This is the BTC500DP model, and looks like it's got a list of all the stuff that it comes with. We're gonna get it unboxed, go through all the components, take a look at it. One thing I know I'm probably gonna have to do, I'm gonna probably have to get a new pressure regulator for my air compressor. Mine's got, the gauge has been all smashed and stuff, so I don't really know what pressure it's at, and I'm sure we're probably gonna need that to limit the pressure that's going through this machine. So let's get this thing unboxed and take a look at it. Now I have done, as of right now, I have done zero research on this product. I haven't looked at any other reviews. I have simply just looked at the listing that the company showed me, and that was it. So you're going to be seeing this live just like I am. I had never heard of this brand, obviously, until they reached out to me, but I'm actually really kind of excited because, honestly, after reviewing the TIG welder, that was like a very cost-effective price for your average homeowner, your average hobbyist. It's actually making me really excited to check this one out too, because this, I believe, when I looked it up, in like the $250 ballpark range, and if this machine works like just as good as I expect it to, this could be a really cheap, good avenue for everybody watching to explore. So without further ado, here is the plasma cutter. So it's kind of like a aqua color, maybe. I'm an 8-color crayon box kind of guy myself, so I'll say this is kind of like a blue-green color. But first appearance, I mean, it's very compact. It's pretty light. All of our connections here are labeled with photos. I know it's kind of hard to see for you guys, but all of our connections are labeled over here with little photos to tell you how to hook it up. Our dial is labeled, and there is a digital display with a couple keys there. So this is really looking good so far. Here, everything's labeled on the back, so that's really nice. Air in, your power, on and off. It looks like maybe this is a water separator down here. So, but Bestarc, and the model again is BTC500DP. So now it looks like it's currently set up for 220, which is awesome because I have my 220 set up now. As you've seen, I've used my welders a couple times. And let's see, we'll set this aside here for a second. Inside the box, let's see what they give us. Looks like we got a couple different tips. So maybe different size cutting tips. Some Teflon tape, some hose clamps. We got the air hose. That's nice. Our ground clamp. Clamp that to obviously whatever metal we're trying to cut. Here's an adapter if we want to go from the 220 down to 110. So I kind of like how they have it set up meant for 220 initially, and then you can put the adapter in if you're only at 120. The TIG welder is kind of the opposite, but I kind of like how it's already hooked up for 220. And then obviously we have our torch. So torch looks nice. I mean, handle feels good. Looks like there's a safety on here to keep you from accidentally hitting it when you don't want to. There's a little guide here so you can run that across the metal so you're not getting too close or too far away when cutting. And honestly, I mean, this looks very self-explanatory on how to hook up, especially knowing that the machine itself has all the diagrams. So, so far I'm really happy with this. All right, so let's see if we can get the plastic off here. Nice clean display. We got our cables here that we need to make connections with. So judging off of the different pictures, it appears that this is going to be where our torch hooks into. Get that all hooked up. And then we got, this looks like maybe the control for it. Basically like this, the signal wire. And then this is going to be something. Pilot arc? There you go. Duh. I'm looking at it upside down. Now the only other thing we have to hook up is the ground clamp. Just simple enough. It's like a lot of the other connections, just a twist, plug. So that's hooked up. All right, and then at that point, the only thing we have left to hook up is this air hose. Now, the air hose, I'm sure we could, well, I'll be 100% honest with you, I'm not even really sure why we have an air hose. When we look at the back of the plasma cutter, we can see that it's already equipped with an air fitting. So that to me just tells me I just hooked my air compressor line there. We might not even need that air hose. Like I said, the one thing that I do want to just check is what PSI this needs to be at. I'll be honest with you, they're still in the package. I have not looked at the instructions whatsoever. So I'm just going to take a look at some of these stickers here and see if there is any labels anywhere saying what PSI the machine should be at. Let's see, maybe it says it down here. This looks like it's just the duty cycle information for how long you can run it continuously. So that is good information. Make sure you check that out when you're running the thing, but not exactly what we're looking for. So if I had a recommendation, I would say put some type of label in here for what PSI it's at. It's really simple. I mean, all they have to do is add another label there. But I may, in this case, refer to the manual just because I don't want to put, 150 PSI from my 80-gallon air compressor through this and blow something out internally, and then we can't use the machine. So I will refer to this quick, and I'll be right back. All right, so took a look inside the product spec sheet here, or basically the owner's manual, could say, and they have this really nice chart, cutting thickness for your voltage, your amperage, the thickness of the material, and what PSI your air should be at. So seems typically you're at 40 to 50 psi unless you get into something that's a lot thicker. Now, obviously, the increments are in millimeters, so 12 millimeters is pretty close to half an inch. I know that. So if you're getting into maybe like 3/8 and half-inch stuff, you'll have to dial the psi up. But if you're pretty much anything smaller than that, it looks like you're only at 40 to 50 psi. So, like I said, a recommendation for me would definitely be this cutting thickness chart, be even a label right on the side of the machine. I know people like the clean, sleek look of all this stuff, but if there was a way to somehow get this chart on here, or honestly, even give this a printout as a sticker in the box. So if you choose to put the sticker there, you can, or you could put the sticker on your welding cart, or you could put the sticker somewhere where you can reference it. Heck, you could even put the sticker right on your air compressor. So I think something like that would definitely be a good thing to have illustrated out here on the device. So at this point, let's get some power to it, power it up, and we'll take a look at the displays and see how easy it is to use. All right, because I'm not ready to cut with it yet, I'm going to just plug it in via 120 and the adapter. And on the back, there's an on and off switch. We'll hit that on. And we can see the display starts illuminating almost instantly. We got some different labels here. So let's see. It says it recognizes it's at 110 volts. Cutting, let's see, there's two controls here, air/cut. There's 2T and 4T, PT and PA. Now there's this dial. So this is going to be your amperage. You can see the green light illuminating up around the side of it. This is going to be your PSI for your air. Why it says EO5 or EOS? Good question. That could just be the fact that it doesn't have air hooked up to it at the moment. This I'm going to say is the increase your PSI, decrease your PSI. So it looks like it does have a regulator on it. I don't want to solely rely on the regulator for this device because if something silly like me putting too much PSI into this regulator and it can't handle it, blows it out, then the device is shot, or we'd have to reach out to the company to try to get it repaired. So basically, I will get probably a new regulator for my large air compressor. Now, why it says EO5, I guess we are going to be forced to go into here again just to see what the different information and parameters are. So it says here, air/cut. Air means checking air supply to machine, but cut means to prepare for cut. So that's valuable information. So you would put it in air if you're trying to adjust it and get your reading. You put it to cut if you're ready to cut your metal. 2T versus 4T. 2T is press switch torch working. Stop pressing switch torch will stop working. 4T means as soon as you press the switch, the torch working. When you stop pressing the switch, this torch will still work until you press the torch again, then it'll stop the torch from working. So 2T, let's get this straight here. 2T is as soon as you pull the trigger, it works. As soon as you let go, it stops. 4T would be you pull it once, it's working, it's working, it's working. You want to shut it off, pull it again. So that is that setting. And then lastly, we have one more setting here. The PT and PA. So PT, which is right here, stands for post time. For time, it looks like the air will kind of continue to spray or hiss out after you get done pulling the trigger, and then PA stands for pilot arc time. So you might be able to adjust the amount of time or the duration that the pilot arc stays on after you release the switch. Then this also covers a couple other things. We already talked about the 120, 110, or 110 and 220. Apparently it'll illuminate if the machine's getting hot with a fan. S symbol only means time for seconds for PT and PA. So when you're adjusting these two settings here, that's where the S symbol will come in. PSI symbol is for air pressure. You'll get reading after air pressure is supplied into the machine. So this screen is going to look a little different once we have the air hooked up to it. A is just for current. And then, let's see here. Okay, so something we can't see at the moment is there's actually bars here in this left-hand corner. Due to me not having air supply hooked up to it, it's telling me right now that the bottom red line means there's not enough air pressure. If this was fully raised up, it would mean there's too much air pressure. But if it's in the center where the green line is, it means that the air pressure is in the good range. So that's actually really valuable right there in itself. You could, I guess I could have hooked this up without even knowing how many PSI we needed, and this machine would have told us. And then this little warning means that there's a problem. Fortunately, it doesn't tell us what the problem is. It's probably telling us the problem is that there's no air. And then the cutting light, it looks like there's a little symbol for when the torch is being actually used. Now, we have a couple error codes. So EO1 means overcurrent protection. EO2 means overheat protection, but EO5, which is what we're getting right now, means there is low or no air pressure. So we would expect to see that since we don't have a line hooked up to it. And then this once again just covers our air pressure versus our voltage and our PSI, well, which is air pressure. Some nice little diagrams on how to hook this up. And does give you operation for how to handle, pierce the metal, make your cuts, how to increase your air pressure, what safety devices you should be using, and your different angles. So honestly, very simple, very effective diagram. Very nice, clear, easy to see display. I'm really liking it so far. I'm actually pretty excited to go ahead and use this machine and cut some stuff. So we'll get that set up and we'll make some cuts. We'll try to do it on various pieces of metal. I'll try to find some that are like cleaner, some that are dirtier, some that are thinner, some that are thicker. And at first we'll just try to start with some straight lines, and then I'll try to get a little creative and see how good I am at freehanding, maybe some circles or some designs. We'll give the overall review of how well the Bestarc plasma cutter does. All right, we got the new pressure regulator and water separator hooked up to the air compressor. Got a flexible line. We just want to turn the PSI down. All right, so we're going to test out the old plasma cutter. I'm going to turn it on. And just to show you guys, here is how thick the metal is. It's just under 200 thousandths. So probably about 3/16 plate steel. We're going to just cut off this nub, and maybe we'll cut off a larger piece. Try to do a circle with it or something, and then we're going to try to cut a larger or thicker piece. All right, so I'll be honest with you. Let's see. It's a little warm. It's not and I wouldn't be grabbing it barehanded, but a little bit of a rough cut. That's because it wasn't really exactly steady. Let's reposition this. Now, I know a lot of people use kind of a straight edge to drag the torch along, which I think is a great idea. So, let's grab something straight. Oh boy. All right, so one thing I kind of forgot to mention was I didn't plug it into the 220 outlet, it's only on the 110 outlet. And apparently the old girl is working. But I do think we made our cut. Look at that. That's nice. That's real nice. That's cool. All right, let me turn the lights back on quick. All right, so it's clear that yes, it'll cut at 110. That's really cool because if you get in a pinch, you need to take it somewhere kind of mobily, you could use it. However, it being on the same circuit as all the lights in the building and my battery charger is probably not allowing this thing to work the way it should. So what I'm going to do now is I'll take the time, I'll hook it up 220, and then we're going to try to cut maybe a design in something, and then on top of that we're going to try to cut through some thicker metal. I got some pieces actually that we can try it out on, completely destroy them if we need to, and kind of see what it's doing. But so far, honestly, really liking this thing. I'll hold up this piece. I mean, it's just slicing through it like butter. You do get the slag buildup on the backside, but you're going to have that with pretty much every cutting method, unless you're using some type of blade. But that scale looks like it would come off easy enough, whether you hit it with the grinder or needle scaler. So let's get this rigged up to 220 and we'll get back. So I'm thinking what we're going to try now, this is just a thin scrap piece of metal, but it's dirty. I want to see if it cuts any differently based off of how clean or dirty the material is. All right, cut through like nothing. So it doesn't seem to matter whether the material is dirty or clean. Granted, this material was probably, I don't know, that's probably like 1/16 inch thick. So it's a good test. I want to try this now. This is a piece of medium duty truck frame. It's about 1/4 inch in thickness. And I wanted to see if it would cut a section of this off. All right. So, honestly, that cut through like nothing. Just gonna see. Yeah. If I had gloves over here, I would just grab it. But it's exceptionally hot, as you can imagine. Yeah. Material cut off. It's nice and clean. I mean, like I said, if I was using a straight edge, that'd be perfect. So, 1/4 inch, 3/16, 16th. Doesn't seem to matter if it's clean, if it's dirty. You know, obviously it's not like welding where you need to prep the surface, but the other nice thing is the machine itself, you know, runs off of 220, but it can also run off of 110. As you saw, if you put it to the limits on the 110, you might trip off the breaker, but that's no big deal. So overall, like I said, really like this machine. Really glad they reached out to me and asked me if I would review this. The only recommendation that I have for them regarding the machine is if you could get a sticker, even if it doesn't come on the machine, comes in the box, you can put the sticker on yourself, or you can put it on your air compressor, somewhere that just reminds you kind of the ballpark of PSI, amperage, and your voltage if you're at 110 or 220. Obviously, we learned that this gauge over here tells you green means good, red means bad, and the different settings that you can mess around with. But I think that sticker would be really helpful and something really easy to just throw in with the product. Not going to add to the expense or anything. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching today. I'm going to try one last cut here, see if I can get crazy with a little freehand action. And but that about wraps it up. Once again, this is the Bestarc BTC500DP. It's a 110 220 volt plasma cutter, and thumbs up here, man. I'm really liking it. So let's see if I can freehand you a design here, and we'll be on our way. That's for all you guys that keep supporting me week after week here on the channel. Really be cool this year if we could get the 1,000 subscribers mark. We're getting pretty close. We're at about 750 as it is. And I think if you guys keep coming back, keep supporting, we'll be at that 1,000 mark in no time. And then this way we can keep going with the content and keep trying out new products and working on different projects. So thanks you guys again, and we'll see you guys next time.